Hello and welcome. My name is Jasmine Keys, and you are listening to Why, How, Impact, the series that breaks down what it takes to be a leader and why on earth they do it. Today's trailblazer is Deb Cupp, the president of Microsoft North Americas, where you're responsible for, no, not North Americas, for the entire Americas. You're responsible for the entire $80 billion business. Thank you so much for joining us. I can only imagine how busy you are.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Jasmine.
So 80 billion, the US, Canada, and Latin America, to be
Yeah.
clear. That is a lot of responsibility, and I'm sure that comes with a wide array of challenges and stresses. So my question to you, as it always is why on earth do you do it? Why did you pursue leadership? What is your why?
Yeah. Well, thank you, first of all. And I do it because it brings me joy. I think that everything we do in life should stem from something that brings you joy. And if you feel challenged, which is also super important to me, you feel like you're growing and it brings you joy. That's what I find in the work that I do in leadership. I think my purpose is really to help people achieve things they didn't think were possible. And that's what I find I get to do every single day. When I first started this thing, back in the day when I first took my first leadership job, I would say I probably did it because it was kind of, oh, it's the next thing you go do. I don't think I knew at that time at all, what my purpose was or what my why was. But I just thought, hey, it's the next step and looks interesting, and maybe I should give that thing a try. So I think it's evolved a lot over time, but now it's just an incredible opportunity to work with amazing people every single day and accomplish things that they didn't think were possible.
Yeah, and purpose is quite a funny thing, isn't it? Humans are just constantly seeking that purpose. I think from,
Mhm.
I mean, adolescence
Yeah.
really, and a lot of people still don't have it and struggle with it. And I think it develops
Yes.
as we get older, as we have new experiences, as we suffer. So how has your purpose or your why developed as you've moved into different leadership roles, and has it given you kind of direction into what roles you'd take as well?
Yeah, for sure. I think I would say it started from being probably a super competitive person. Like I was an athlete growing up and I thought, ooh, I just have to kind of get to the next best thing, which wasn't a purpose at all, frankly. It was just a matter of thinking like, oh, I'm going to go do this other thing because it looks hard and challenging and I like to challenge myself. And that sort of it evolved quickly, but it definitely evolved. I think it used to be very honestly, when I first did it, I thought it was more about me. And then it absolutely shifted quite quickly into this isn't about me at all. This is about everybody else. And so I think it became more about understanding others and figuring out ultimately how do we achieve our objective, whether it's at Microsoft or wherever I've been. How do we do that with this amazing group of people and align them in a way that is powerful and has impact and accountability, but yet people are learning and developing along the way. So it was an absolute journey for me. And I think part of it is certainly as you mature, as you start to get more comfortable in your own skin. I think there's a phase in the beginning, or was for me, that you always felt like I have to be the one that knows everything. I'm the leader now. Like I have to be the smartest person here. And that very quickly proved not to be the case. And I also very quickly learned that's not my job. My job isn't to be the best at everything. My job is to get the best out of people and help build the path and create that North Star. And so it's evolved quite a bit. And I think part of that comes with confidence. Part of that comes with a little more grace for yourself and a little more understanding of what the role really is versus what I think you might think it is when you first start out, at least for me.
Yeah, and I love that. It's about getting the most out of your team. And I think that in the initial stages of leadership, you forget that because you're trying
Yes,
to be
totally.
impressive.
Totally.
You know, you're trying to make your way up the career ladder and
Yes.
and and prove yourself, not just to
Yes.
your leadership and your mentors and your boss, but prove yourself to yourself.
That's right.
So um, when did that shift happen for you? When did
Yeah.
you start to think, actually, I don't need to know everything in the book. I don't need to be an expert at everything. Actually, I'm a generalist, maybe.
Yes. No, and I absolutely am a generalist. I love that you use that word because I think there's still a lot of fear. I use the word fear a lot because I think people are fearful that if you don't know, someone's automatically going to go, well, they shouldn't be the leader. I've certainly thought that when I was first starting out. I think it evolved over time for sure. I would say there was probably a period of years where I still felt like, oh my goodness, like shouldn't I have known that? Or wait, why didn't I figure that out? Or, maybe I should have been better at this. And then I started to evolve. And then I think as I started that evolution, it became so clear. It became so obvious that you sort of think back, like, how did I not know this? But you start to realize that the brilliance around you is what lifts the whole organization. And you are just one person. I mean, that is nothing compared to the power of the whole organization coming together in a way that it lifts everybody up. So for me, I felt like, hey, I don't need to be the best at everything that I have to know. Believe me, at a place like Microsoft, it's a long list of, engineering technical capability that I don't personally have. There's lots of things that go on in legal and compliance and all these areas where you say, I'm not an expert, but I sure do know who the experts are. And I sure want them as part of my team. And I want them to be the best that can raise my capability and my learning, but also be better the organization. So I think it took a little bit of time, but I think as soon as I sort of clicked, like, I am a generalist, it's okay. I don't have to like explain myself being a generalist. I let go of the fear. And as soon as I let go of the fear, it was like this unleash. I just felt like comfortable in my own skin and totally okay saying, I don't know. Like, I don't have the answer to that question. What do you all think? That is when it shifted for me. And I think that's when you really get the most out of people, when you empower them to make the decisions, you empower them to create the solutions. That's a game changer for them as well as for the organization all up.
I completely agree. And I'm reflecting on some of the conversations I've had with other trailblazers as you're going through this, because Tracy Sun, who's the co-founder of Poshmark, was talking about how as a generalist, you're able to be the person that asks questions, the easy questions, the simple questions, where your team have started to make assumptions, and you come in with this question, and it spots gaps, it uncovers things that they wouldn't have uncovered because they're in a little echo chamber, right?
Yeah.
Which is not their fault. But that's your role.
Yes. Oh, I love that because I think my job is to listen and learn. My job is to ask questions. My job is to challenge. My job is to encourage. So I think there's this unbelievable opportunity that people get siloed in the work that they do. And so my job is to pull it up and look across. And I think that's such a privilege that we get the chance to do that. And then we get to step in and ask the types of questions to create clarity for people. And that's a big important job for a leader, is to create clarity. And you can create clarity by asking questions, digging deeper, understanding why and what people are trying to do, and how that creates a connection to the outcome you want for the organization. So it's quite a privilege to be able to sit in that seat, to be able to do those types of things. And then we all get to learn along the way, which is also a pretty powerful thing.
You talked a bit about knowing the people that you need to go to. How have you established those relationships, not just in this role, but as you've moved up in different positions? How do you establish those relationships and build trust with those key members?
I think it's curiosity is probably a superpower. I think people want to actually share with you what they do and what they know. And I'm just a deeply curious person. So as an example, when I came to Microsoft, I thought, oh my goodness, like this is an amazing opportunity to go learn. And so I just reached out to people randomly. And I was like, hey, I'm new. I've been here, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is. I've heard your name. I would love the opportunity just to hear what you do. I want to understand how things connect. I'm a big believer in understanding how things connect inside an organization or with your customers. It's a proactive effort. I really believe that. I think if people are waiting for those connections to happen, they're not going to happen. You have to actually create the connection. And I also believe there's a value in what are you bringing to them. So not only are you hoping to learn from them in that dialogue, you want them to know that you're there too to support them. And in my world, it might be I'm going to go talk to an engineering leader and I'm going to say, hey, call me anytime that you want to create a connection with the customer, or you want to understand more deeply what it is we do over here, on the go-to-market business. I want to help create those opportunities for you as well. So trust comes from being open and honest and transparent. It comes from vulnerability as well. So I'm also very okay saying to somebody, I don't understand. So can you help me understand that better? I think those types of things really create trust for people because they understand that you're not trying to prove anything. You're just trying to learn. You're trying to make people better. You're trying to create better connections in the organization. But it's work. I think anyone who doesn't believe that it's work to create those networks, it is work, and it's work really, really well spent. So I highly encourage, anytime we bring anybody in here or anywhere else I've ever been, go do that work, because those connections will reap benefits long term, both from a personal standpoint, like it's just awesome to go meet new people, but also from a business standpoint, because you're creating the connectivity in the company to understand how the matrix actually operates.
I think as a leader, you have to be energized by
Totally.
the people around you. And,
Yep.
and if you're not that, I don't know, leadership's going to be extremely
That's right.
difficult. So hopefully that connecting and that networking comes naturally. And I love the connections here. You're making connections so that you can create clarity, so that you can find the right people to go to.
Yep.
This is a brilliant way to understand the organization and then I guess the market as well.
Yeah.
My final piece is about your impact and the legacy you want to leave behind. I want to look at the future for Deb Cupp.
Yeah.
So really quickly before we go into that though, what are you most proud of so far? What's been the highlight of your
Yeah.
career?
I mean, I think it's connected actually. The highlight for me, and it truly is an example. Just last week, I heard from somebody I haven't talked to in 15 years. And they sent me a note on LinkedIn and they said, "Hey, I just want to let you know, I still remember some of the coaching you gave me and the experience that I had with you as a leader. And it's impacted me from that day forward." And that was 15 years ago. That is it. And that is what, if I had to say, what do I want my lasting impact to be? I want my lasting impact to be people feel different, better, more accomplished, happier because of the impact that hopefully I had on them. So for me, that is what I want people to say about me. And whenever in the future, when I'm done this thing, I want people to say, yeah, I'm better for her. I'm better because I had the chance to work with her or interact with her. It helped me learn. It helped me grow. It helped me enjoy what I do every single day. It's that simple for me, because I do think at the root of success is people connecting to that confidence, that capability, that joy in the work that they do. And if I can sprinkle some of that around that lasts, I think that means I can have a lasting impact on hopefully on their success and on their career.
And that's what gets you out of bed in the morning.
Totally.
That's the drive.
Yep. It's awesome. I mean, you do all sorts of amazing, great things, but at the end of the day, I firmly believe it comes down to the people that you impact every single day, because that has a ripple effect. If you did it for them, perhaps they do it for somebody else, and even at home and at work, and and that is sort of, to me, what creates a better opportunity for everybody in the long run.
It's incredible, the parallels of what each of the trailblazers are
Really?
saying. Yeah, I've done a few of the interviews so far, and it was Nicole Portwood who I did it with first, and we were talking about cultivating an obsession with humanity.
Oh, that's cool.
That's what we're talking about here as well.
Yeah.
It's all about the people, and I think in a leadership position, if you don't have that drive to connect people, step away from you being the one with all the answers, and build them up, then it's really not going to work, is it? It's going to be a hard job, and you're not going to have a good enough reason to do it.
Right. And I have to think you can't enjoy it. Like, if that's not a driver for you, it can't be that enjoyable, right? Like, and that certainly trickles down. I mean, people feel it. They know. And, people are smart and they can read situations. So there's those that do it for there'll always be those that do it for different reasons, but I think if the core reason is for those that you lead, then that's the best place to be in.
It's got to be fun. You just got to throw a little bit of fun in there.
Oh,
And
I'm a big believer of fun. I totally, I think that's one, I've always kind of core to me is me. And so I think that, throughout my entire leadership career, I do it the way I think is right. And I do it based on who I am. So I don't do it based on other people. Like I had somebody early in my career say, "You laugh too much." I'm like, do I? I was like, it was a shocking statement. I'm like, wow, like what an interesting thing to say to somebody. You laugh too much at work. I was like, well, I'm going to keep laughing at work because laughter brings joy and funny is funny, And so I think there's no reason it can't be at the workplace. It doesn't have anything to do with your ability to not succeed. I think, in fact, it actually has the opposite effect. But it was just a funny statement that stuck with me. And I was like, oh, I'm okay laughing as much as I laugh because I think joy is really powerful.
I'm sorry I'm not bored enough for you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, well, good. I think that's a good reason to kind of know when you need to move on as well. If that sort of
Totally.
thing is happening,
100%.
it's time to maybe find a different sort of leadership role
Yeah,
somewhere
that's
else.
right.
Absolutely fantastic and a brilliant legacy to leave behind. We're going to summarize really quickly. As you know, this webcast is called Why, How, Impact. So I'm going to say each word, and I'd like you to respond with a very short one-sentence answer, starting with because, by, and to.
Got it.
Why?
Because I want people to do things they didn't think they could.
How?
By listening, by learning, and by empowering.
Impact.
They will accomplish things and happiness and joy that they didn't think they could.
Now let's reverse it.
Okay.
Complete this sentence. I am a leader because I want to impact. By, how, because, why?
I am a leader because I want to impact an environment where employees and teams thrive, by empower and supporting my teams to do that and to help people accomplish things they didn't think they could.
Thank you so much for joining us today for Why How Impact. What an incredible career you have led, and I have no doubt that you will leave that legacy, not just with Microsoft, but gosh, in the world, bringing that joy, bringing that fun, and bringing that laughter. Do not stop. Thank you.
Thanks, Jasmine. I so appreciate it. It was great to chat with you.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Why How Impact is a weekly conversation with our 2024 Trailblazing Women. So make sure you subscribe and tune in next week as we continue to explore what it takes to be a leader and the powerful why behind it all. Until then, keep striving to find what motivates you and have fun while you do it. I'm Jasmine Keys, and this is Why How Impact. I'll see you next week.